Hey, Chris Peterson here. In this video, I'm going to show you how I went from this pile of wood to this 1/4-inch scale model house. When I was in grade school, I became friends with a classmate of mine, Peter Malone. Pete lived in a stately white, classic revival style house that his great-grandfather and the second mayor of Parkridge, Illinois, William Malone, bought in the early 1900s. This home was designated a local landmark in 2011. William Malone commissioned the architect Zook and McCahey to build the Deco-style Pickwick Theater in 1928. I made a model of the Pickwick in 2003. Anyway, around the same time they designed the Pickwick Theater, these same architects designed the stately additions to the Malone House. The house was originally built in 1850. From around 5th grade through college, I spent a lot of time at this house, and the Malones became a second family to me. Their side yard was a gigantic double lot where we could play baseball, football, and, basically goof off. Last year I decided to build a scale model of this beautiful house. I contacted the current owner, and with his permission, my brother and I stopped by and took some measurements. Since this house has so many details I wanted to capture, I decided to build the house in 1/4-inch or O scale. O scale is the larger than the HO scale used for model trains. As we made our measurements, I took a lot of photographs for future reference in building my model. I transferred the measurements and the location of the doors and windows into an architectural software package called Chief Architect, which I used to create a 3D rendering. Chief Architect has this neat feature where you can print out PDFs to build paper models in whatever scale you'd like. I made the PDFs in 1/4-inch scale on my laptop. I then imported the PDFs into CorelDRAW and outlined the walls, doors, windows, and the roof sections. I created the windows based on their relative size along with the exact number of panes of glass for each window. Then I have the windows and the walls laser cut from 1/16 of an inch basswood. The laser precision cuts the wood with the thickness of a human hair. It also allows me to etch certain details into the wood like the bricks, the rocks, these capitals, and the front door. One detail of this house I never noticed before were these nature shapes cut out of the shutters. I couldn't possibly cut these with an X-Acto knife. I added the nature shapes to each shutter, and then I had them laser cut. I cut the window openings out of the walls just slightly smaller than the diameter of the windows themselves. This allows a slight surface to glue the windows to. I'll show you this in a minute. Once I have all the wood cut, I can begin to build the framework of the model. Keeping the walls straight and square can be challenging, so I use small square pieces of thin plywood to keep all the walls and corners nice and neat. The exterior walls consisted of wood siding and a dentil cornice. The cornice is made from 7 strips of wood, and I incorporated a gutter as well. One strip consisted of tooth-cut squares to give me the dental look I was hoping for. After the cornice and siding are added, I was able to paint the entire house white. After separately painting the windows, I added a thin piece of plastic that looks like glass on the inside of each window. Here's where the smaller inside window opening comes in handy. With the slightly smaller interior window hole, I could simply and accurately slide in my doors and windows into the exterior siding for a perfect fit. The roof shingles were made from thin gray cardstock. With a thin black Sharpie marker, I drew these horizontal lines to give the illusion of gaps between the slate shingles. Then I cut the paper into strips and glued them onto the roof with a slight overlap. I laser cut and etched the capitals for the big columns on the side of the house, as well as the smaller columns for the doorway. I used dowel rods for the columns and placed each of them in a small square with a ring at the bottom for a realistic look. The rest of this model consisted of adding a terrace stairs for an entryway and the detailed railing, shutters, and a flower box, as well as the chimney. As you can see, the chimney bricks and tiles were cut to match the real thing. Finally, I cut out an outline of this house and placed it inside some black foam board. The end result was this beautiful 1/4-inch scale revival style model house. Please like and share this video, and feel free to add any comments or ask me a question below. Thanks for watching. Bye.